Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, April 22nd, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Prime Minister and Minister of Security Dr. Rav Gonsalves at a media conference earlier today denied having had any involvement in the arrest or prosecution of teacher Josette Bibi, who was arrested at her school and then subsequently charged with 2 counts of obscene publication on the social networking site Facebook. Dr. Gonsalves told members of the media that he does not, nor will he ever become involved with the prosecution of anyone, and that there was nothing political about the matter involving teacher Bibi.
I had absolutely no conversation with the police or the director of public prosecution to charge this lady. I didn't go through any intermediary for them to represent on my behalf what I thought. Whether I did it directly or went through intermediaries, I would have acted improperly had that been done. I have never, in the 14 years plus since I'm Prime Minister, never spoken to the Commissioner of Police, any commissioner, none of them can tell you that I've ever called them to talk to them about prosecuting somebody. I have absolutely nothing to do with prosecutions or charging anybody. I've never done it. That my immediate reaction when I heard about it, why are they charging this woman?
The Prime Minister says he refused to become involved in the matter since it was a case in a criminal court, hence he had to maintain his silence. The Prime Minister further states that he is not against the police for doing their jobs. However, he felt that the matter could have been dealt with differently.
And certainly, in the matters in which I have a say, I would always want to see things being reasonable and proportionate, even if they are legal. And while I was being beaten up by a number of people, I kept my silence. Because for me to have uttered then what I am now saying would have compromised and interfered with unduly and improperly in an ongoing case, criminal case, before the magistrate, before the law courts. And I wouldn't do that. Not just because I am Prime Minister.
PM Gonsalves also spoke of his trip to Jamaica, where he held a discussion with the visiting U.S. President Barack Obama. Dr. Gonsalves says they spoke on the issue of marijuana and that he is worried that by the time the U.S. legalizes marijuana in all its states, SVG might lose its place in the market.
My worry, really, is that when, maybe by the year 2025, which is only 10 years away, where the process is far more liberalized in the United States, that as I told my brother Barack Obama in our interchange, I said we may well be importing at that time something called mackweed. You know, we import everything from McDonald's, a Mac hamburger, so we may get mackweed, not necessarily, not by McDonald's, but by somebody else, by using mackweed in a symbolic sense. But people who can't see that, people who just won't look at issues for us to make adjustments.
He further noted that while the misuse and abuse of marijuana is bad, there have been significant scientific discoveries about the plant that can have overall benefits to this country's economy.
The misuse and abuse of marijuana is a terrible thing, and it's a health hazard. But the science also shows, and you see it on Sanjay Gupta, all these series on CNN, by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. It has help in certain medical circumstances, and that's why it has to be properly controlled. And you see how the very nature of the product itself has to be of a particular type, the particular strain, and so on and so forth. It's a complicated business, because as all science is, and where you want to deal with medical derivatives.
The promise made by the government to ensure that the surviving students of the Fancy rock gutter accident were given technological devices to help in their communication and education was fulfilled on Tuesday. The students received Samsung Galaxy Ace 4 smartphones through a donation made by telecommunications company Digicel and Acer Iconia tablets donated by the National Lotteries Authority. Minister of Information and Technology Camila Gonsalves expressed appreciation to Digicel for their speedy response to providing assistance to the students.
Had affected very deeply the way in which they could perform in school and interact with their family and friends through communication. So, on the instruction of the Prime Minister and on the instruction of Minister Daniel, we contacted Digicel, and I'm here to express gratitude to Digicel and the country manager, John Gate-Harry, who very quickly, as soon as we contacted him and said, you know, the students lost their telephones, he said, well, just give me the list of the names of the students that survived the tragedy, and we at Digicel will provide cell phones to replace what they lost. So we have to thank Digicel for the generosity.
The Information and Technology Minister also expressed gratitude to the National Lotteries for the tablets and hopes that the gadgets will help them become more functional in their studies and everyday activities.
The Prime Minister got Acer tablets for the affected students. The Acer Iconia tablets are very good machines. They're very fast, they're very effective, good resolution, and between these tablets and the smartphones, I think that we've gone some ways at least to putting the students back in a position that they were before they lost their devices in the tragedy. And that is what this is about, trying to make the students and the families whole as much as is possible. Of course, we cannot make you whole given what you have gone through, but as much as is possible, we're trying to make you whole.
Meanwhile, Area Representative for North Windward, Montgomery Daniel, announced that the former teacher's house at Fancy will become a mini learning resource center. Daniel says that his government will continue to ensure that the people of Fancy get what they need to improve their lives. He disclosed that some 3,000 Canadian dollars was raised by the diaspora and that money would aid in the restoration of the building.
Where we can have computers in, where we can have community meetings and the likes. And so Fitzhuggins was able to raise some money that he can assist in placing some computers in that building when it's refurbished. And so, as a representative of this constituency, I honestly want to thank Fitzhuggins for the work he has been doing in Canada, not only for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but for the people here in Fancy.
Meanwhile, Consul General to Canada Fitzhuggins says the Vincentian diaspora in Canada is pleased to give back and find a way to comfort the people of Fancy. Huggins says that he is pleased that the monies would go toward the purchasing of computers for the center.
And how much we share the pain suffered by the persons who lost relatives, that we present these books. Also included is a video of this church service and candles that were lit as a remembrance of the lost ones. At that church service, there was a collection done, and we collected just about 3,000 Canadian dollars that we have decided to put towards a project for the community. and we thought we'll let the people in the community decide what that project should be. We were advised that the community center would be refurbished, and we have decided to outfit the center with computers. I think $3,000 would probably do us 5 or 6 computers. And I will personally put in an extra one from my pocket, so whatever $3,000.
Chief Environmental Health Officer Neary James is advising persons to adhere to standard procedures of food preparation for public consumption. James told SVG-TV News that persons wishing to engage in food manufacturing or processing at their homes or using private buildings must first get the necessary clearance for the relevant authorities for these structures to be used for that purpose. This comes in the wake of reports that an Oriental restaurant owner here has been producing noodles for consumption at a building in the Cane Garden area without the required permits. Country representative of the Pan American Health Organization PAHO, Anik Wilson, says the fight against non-communicable diseases must take a unified approach. Wilson was addressing various health practitioners at the opening of a 2-day workshop by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Environment on non-communicable strategic and implementation action plan. The seminar held at French's House earlier today revealed the finding of 3,515 persons who were surveyed on issues such as their dietary, exercise and physical measurements, among other areas.
Especially because more than 1/3 of non-communicable diseases are as a result of premature deaths, and that these burdens pose a threat to regional and national development, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines is no exception. We also note that social determinants of health are major drivers of non-communicable disease, of the non-communicable disease epidemic, and lead to a disproportionate burden of non-communicable disease on socially and economically vulnerable populations. Thus, it calls for a multi-sectoral approach.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Louis Deschamps, also called for greater cooperation in dealing with non-communicable diseases. Deschamps thanked PAHO for being big-hearted in its assistance to SVG.
There is no government in any corner of the world, ladies and gentlemen, that can provide the required resources against the current backcloth of economic stringency to deliver health care. However, government cannot do it all by itself. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, we have got to deepen partnerships with regional and international bodies in this regard. And this morning, I am delighted to say that the Pan American Health Organization is our principal international partner, a partner which continues to provide tremendous technical and financial assistance for our activities.
Deputy Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the ECCB, Trevor Brathwaite, is encouraging Vincentians and others in the Eastern Caribbean to hand in their 1 and 2 cent coins to the various commercial banks throughout the country before time runs out. Brathwaite was speaking with the media via a live video conference yesterday at the local ECCB headquarters on the phasing process of the coins.
If you hold them in your drawer or in your jar at home, you're not making anything on it, right? If you deposit in your bank, at least you get some interest on it. So sitting in your home, right, it just occupies space, right? Just has space. So making your life much more difficult because you have to clean up around the place and clean up the dust and so. So take it, put it in the bank, put it in your savings account, at least you'll get some interest, right? So that's the one that makes two.
Meanwhile, Deputy Director of Support Services Pamela Osborne explains that the roundup system being used to help with the phasing out of the 1 and 2 cent coins will have items with 3, 4, 8 and 9 cents as their last figures, rounding up to higher figures, while items with 1, 2, 6 and 7 cents rounding down. She says the information will be clearly displayed at numerous places, particularly where commercial activity occurs.
Items or change that will end with 1, 2, 6 or 7 cents will be rounded down. So then, change of $1 will become $1. $1.02 will be rounded down to $1 also. In the same way, change ended with 6 cents and 7 cents will be rounded down, but in those two instances, they'll be rounded down to 5 cents. So then the 1 and 2 cents coin will be rounded down to 0 cents, and the 6 and 7 will be rounded down to 5 cents. On the contrary, the rounding up will take place if an item, the cost of an item ends with 3 cents or 4 cents, and changes to be given back to the public. The $1.03 will be rounded up to $1.05. Items costing $1.04 will also run it up to $1.05. And 8 and 9 cents, if they end with 8 and 9 cents, they will also run it up to $1.10.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is phasing out the 1 and 2 cent coins as of the 1st of July 2015, but a grace period of 5 years is being extended to bring in all coins before they become completely unusable. An honorary service will be held for the members of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, the SVG-TV, on Sunday at the Lord's Deliverance Baptist Church. This will be the 20th year since the service is being held, and pastor of the church, Martin Cupid, who will be delivering the sermon, says that this event is an important one, not just for the police officers, but to the country on a whole, since Vincentians depend on the police for protection. Cupid further added that the work of the law enforcement officers is difficult, and Vincentians should always be grateful and give thanks to them.
20 years ago, God inspired us. Even in the book of Jeremiah chapter 1, God set up over the nation. Because we are called to set up a nation, we observe the hard-working men and women who stand in the duty all their life to protect our country. A workman is worthy of its meal. Jesus himself surrendered the thing to Caesar that belonged to Caesar. And this way it started because we observe the men and women who are in the police force, they desire something to look upon. And we from Deliverance Baptist Church, we decided to honor them for their hard work. Because it's not easy to be a policeman and a woman who have to leave their family at night to defend our country when we are sleeping.
And Station Sergeant Junior Simmons of the SVG-TV says that it is good to know that as police officers, they are appreciated, which makes the work that his organization does a lot easier.
The police appreciate this service very, very much because it's very important to show appreciation to persons who would have served. And over the past 20 years, the Lord's Deliverance Baptist Church have been having a service to show appreciation to the police, which is very commendable on their part. Police officers, they are very hard-working people, very, very hard-working. They are the first to leave their homes on mornings to go to work, the last to leave at nights. And we are very, very much appreciative on behalf of the Commission for Police, Mr. Michael Charles, and the entire rank and file of the Lord's Baptist Church for really putting on the service.
And Violent Cupid calls for a closer relationship between the public and the police department. She further invited the public to attend the service this Sunday.
U.S. Virgin Islands and in America, those police officers, they're armed. They have like 3 guns. They have their own patrol cars. But here, our people don't have that. They only have a piece of stick. And that cannot really defend them. And it's time for somebody come out in the open and say thank you. And I'm inviting everyone, make a special effort, come out and encourage our hard-working men and women of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. They need us. You see, the police and the public should work together, because without the police, we are nowhere. Without the public helping the police, it's no use. So we should be a link in a strong chain.
The Prime Minister and other government ministers are expected to be in attendance, as well as the present Commissioner of Police and numerous other past commissioners. Yesterday afternoon, Digicel launched its newest product on the Vincentian market, Digicel I. The objective of the product is to provide all Vincentians with easy access to security footage to their homes and businesses. Country manager to Digicel SVG Limited, John Gidari, says that the company is very proud of the product and explained how Digicel I works.
The Digicel I pretty much is a solution with your surveillance recording systems that will ensure your footage is backed up in the cloud, and it ensures that you can access it throughout the world or anywhere on the go as long as you have an internet connection. This product is just as secure as any other product in the industry, and you can access it via your mobile phone, you can do it via your tablet, as well as your laptop, and obviously if you'd like to monitor it from home. These solutions have been made possible by Digicel Business. It is the arm of our solutions company in Digicel, and we continue to grow our Digicel Business portfolio in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the Digicel I happens to be one of the new products that we will introduce, or we are introducing, and will continue to introduce other products that are cloud-based.
Akido Matthews, a 20-year-old young man from Camden Park, is this evening counting his lucky stars, having walked out of the serious offences court at Freeman this morning on a charge of possession of a large quantity of marijuana. Matthews' freedom came when the chief prosecutor told the chief magistrate that he was discontinuing the case against him. The prosecutor did not give a reason for his decision. Matthews' arrest followed the execution of a warrant by the Narcotics Division in March of 2014 at his home. Reports are that when the police arrived at his home, no one was there. The police, however, proceeded to move into the house and found some 14,528 grams of marijuana, which they removed in his absence. A group of young, talented artists has partnered with telecommunications provider Lime on a nationwide hunt for like-minded entertainers. Calling themselves the Carpe Diem Society, the youngsters kicked off their talent search last Friday on the Lime Promenade, auditioning persons who could be this country's next big thing. Secretary of the Society, Venetia Williams, says that the idea behind the group is to identify talent in 5 particular divisions. They must be between the ages of 16 to 35, who have a talent in dancing, singing, theater arts, modeling, and creative writing. Williams says with the support of Lime, the society would be able to accomplish some of the major events that are planned in order to identify the talent. Some of the upcoming events include a camp in August, a stop show along with another major audition in May.